When we're talking about some of the most successful animated movie franchise to ever exist, it would be something of a crime to exclude the Despicable Me franchise. The franchise is one of the most successful franchises ever, and it's grossed more than $3 billion and sits at number 15 on the list of highest-grossing movie franchises of all time. Talk about impressive. There are 4 movies in the franchise, starting with Despicable Me, which was released in 2010. Can you believe it's already been 12 years? I don't know about you guys, but this makes me feel super old. Anyways, in case you haven't heard, we're getting a 5th movie in the franchise, and it's titled Minions: The Rise of Gru. The movie is due to be released any moment from now, but before you get all excited and book a ticket in advance, there are some important things that you should know before watching it. We're going to be going over all the important details, so make sure you stick with me until the very end because the last detail is super important, okay?
I'm looking for a Mr. Gru.
Okay, let's kick things off with the most important part of the movie, and that's the plot. After all, what's a movie without a plot? Minions: The Rise of Gru is an origin story, and we're hoping to learn exactly how Gru came to be the villain that he is. Also, we're gonna see Gru with some hair, and I think that's really interesting because one thing that we know from the movies is that he is super self-conscious about his lack of hair. I'm hoping that we'll get to see how and why he lost his hair and became bald. The movie is a second prequel to the Despicable Me movies, and it also has a sequel to the 2015 prequel, Minions. Gru was a minor character in Minions, and we don't see him until the end of the movie when he froze Scarlet and Herb and stole the British crown. The Minions then decide that he is evil enough to be their new master, and they run after him and choose to serve him. The movie ends there, and we never really got any more backstory than that. But all that is going to change pretty soon, because as the name implies, Minions: The Rise of Gru is going to take us on Gru's journey as he grows from being a young boy who is neglected by his mother to being a supervillain who tries to steal the moon. We already know how he got the minions, so the movie is going to be focusing on how he created a strong bond with them while trying to grow his evil portfolio. He interviews to join an elite group of supervillains known as the Vicious Six, but things go wrong and he ends up being on the run from them. Also, he gets a new nickname from the minions, and it's Mini Boss. Really, how cute is that? You can't tell me that's not one of the cutest things you've heard in a while.
Mini boss? No le tipo todo para tú?
So now that you've got an idea of how the plot's gonna be, do you need to watch the other 4 movies in the franchise before seeing this one? Well, there isn't exactly a straightforward answer. It would be a great idea for you to watch at least one of the movies so you're not entirely clueless about how things work in the Despicable Me franchise. It would be nice for you to catch up on the movies, learn about the minions and why they are the way they are, the adventure they've gone on with Gru, how cute they can be even when they're being evil and stuff like that. Plus, the movies are really good, so it's not going to be a chore for you to watch them. So if you're in the mood for some fun TV, then yes, it's a great idea to watch the other movies. But if you're too busy doing that, or if you'd rather spend your time on some other things, then you'll be happy to know that it's not entirely necessary for you to watch the other movies. Every single one of them was designed in such a way that they can be watched as standalone movies. So if you don't want to sit through 4 movies, then you don't have to. So the answer is that some background knowledge is highly encouraged, but you don't necessarily need to understand and enjoy the movie by watching another movie. Let's talk about the voice actors in the movie. First, we have Steve Carell, who is reprising his role as Gru. Steve also voiced Gru in the first 4 movies in the franchise, so he's definitely not a newbie to Gru. Another actor who's going to be reprising his role is Pierre Coffin, who voices the minions including Kevin, Stuart, Bob, and the rest of the minions including Otto, who is a new minion character. Julie Andrews is also going to be making a return as Marlena Gru, Gru's mother who treated him badly and neglected him. We're going to be seeing more of Marlena's relationship with Gru in this movie, and from what we know, is going to be not a loving mother and son relationship. Russell Brand is going to be appearing as Dr. Nefario, an evil scientist who is going to eventually become Gru's assistant in the future. Apart from the returning actors, we're also going to be seeing some new actors, and many of them are the top stars that we already know. One of such is Taraji P. Henson, who voices Bell Bottom, the new leader of the supervillain group The Vicious Six. Bell Bottom becomes the new leader after their old leader, Wild Knuckles, gets kicked out of the group. Other members of The Vicious Six include Jean-Claude Van Damme, who voices Jean-Claude, a supervillain with a lobster claw. Fun fact, the name Jean-Claude is a play on the actor's real name, Jean-Claude. We also have Lucy Lawless, who voices Nunchuck, a villain who is a nun and fights with nunchucks. Dolph Lundgren, who is a supervillain who doubles as a roller skater, and the one and only Danny as Stronghold, a supervillain with huge hands. Finally, we have Michelle as Master Chow, a kung fu expert fighter who helps the minions on their quest to defeat the Vicious Six and rescue Gru. This is an interesting part of the trailer that I'm pretty sure many people missed. In the second official trailer, there's a super subtle reference to the Avengers that you'll probably miss if you weren't paying attention. When Gru was trapped, he called for the minions to rescue him and shouted, "Minions assemble!" This is a direct reference to Captain America's call of Avengers assemble, which makes it obvious that it's a reference. I don't know about you guys, but this kind of makes me excited to see the references that are going to be in the Minions The Rise of Gru, and if this is any indicator, the references are going to be super cool.
Minions assemble!
The movie was first announced in 2017 and production started the same year. However, there were a lot of setbacks that affected production, especially the COVID-19 pandemic. Because of that, Illumination Studios got shut down for a while and everything came to a halt. Minions The Rise of Gru was initially scheduled to be released July 3rd, 2020, but the pandemic delays meant that it had to be shifted back to July 2nd, 2021. But again, there were further delays and the release date had to be pushed back yet again. Luckily, we now have a set date because it has been confirmed to premiere on July 1st, 2022, which means that the release date is already here. So if you're planning to see it the moment it drops, you might want to go ahead and pre-order your tickets right now because it has been projected to sell out. It has been projected to gross around $65 to $80 million in the opening weekend alone, so you can bet that the theaters are gonna be full. Now that you know this, you are more than ready to watch the movie when it eventually comes out. So tell me, what do you think about the Despicable Me franchise? What do you think about Minions The Rise of Gru? Do you think it's going to be as good as the first 4 movies, or do you think it's going to be even better? Do you think it's going to be worth it? Don't be shy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know you love this video, so I need you to go ahead and leave a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel to see more content like this, and remember to turn on notifications so you'll never miss uploads you'll love.
Yes, good night.
Good night!
No!
Ah.